Case study number 3, Devin Pierce. Case number 4, evictions and foreclosures in the time of COVID. The central moral problems in this case are how COVID affected many people. With the worldwide lockdown, the majority of the people could not work, and many businesses were losing too much money to stay open and to support themselves. There are examples with the food industry. In my experience, I worked at a pizza place during COVID. The owner decided to stay open to provide food for people, but I know many places could not because of the lack of supply, employees not willing to work during COVID, and the lack of customers willing to go out in such a time. Unfortunately, for people who had houses for rent, their customers staying at their homes did not have to pay their bills or their monthly rent. This affected many people trying to pay their own bills with little money as they weren't getting paid. Because of the circumstances, I think the best route that could have been taken would be stop everything. Put a pause onto bills altogether. This would allow no unemployment and free government money for people to take. This unfortunately will come back as we will be the ones to pay for all of this in taxes. I believe this relates to virtue ethics as it is about understanding and living a life of moral character. I think most people during this time really had to think about others, their safety, especially your loved ones that could be more prone of getting ill from COVID. They had to be more cautious, and the nurses and doctors had to step up during this time to treat and care for many patients as they did not have enough staff or enough room. There was just too much going on all at once. I think in a perspective of a virtuous human being perspective on this situation is to help out one another, to not allow someone to lose their property and their life's work because of such an awful situation. They would bring virtue to the people around them. I think evicting someone from their home or having foreclosures during this time was just, I don't think it's fair for anyone. I believe evictions and foreclosures in this time of COVID is unfair to landlords and the evicted people. This is why I mentioned everything needed to be on pause so both point of views would not get affected. If you're a landlord of an apartment complex and you have to pay bills, and all of your apartment residents were not paying rent because they can't or don't have to, what do you do? What can you do? I mean, how do you stay open from that? On the flip side, if the landlord was able to evict a person out of their apartment because the person was unable to pay their monthly rent, then how is this fair? Where would that person even go? They might not have anywhere else to stay at. And during this COVID time, I mean, people were so iffy on seeing each other. You had to basically distance yourself from a lot of people. So for you to get evicted, I mean, it's just awful to really think about. I think overall COVID affected many people, and I hope to see that the world gets to a better place and that we can overcome this and grow and hopefully have a better future. Thanks for listening.